Hi everybody, Onika Patrick Redhead, and I'm here today with three wonderful nurses. All of them at different stages in their career.
Okay, my name is Jennifer. I've been qualified coming up to 15 years. I'm qualified as an RMN nurse, and I've worked my way through, and now I'm a service manager.
So I'm Antonia Williams. Actually, my registration is as a learning disability nurse.
I'm Lima. I'm a community nurse. I qualified in 2018, so I'll be almost doing my last 2 years in the NHS.
Alright, so ladies, anybody can answer this. What does the year of nurse and midwife mean to you?
I guess it's good that nurses are being celebrated, it's being celebrated. I guess it'd be interesting to see the context of what the celebration is. So that's the only kind of thing I can say because it's new to me. So I'm looking forward to see what the context of what that's going to look like and what the year of nurses after it's been celebrated, what that impact is going to be. I guess that's what I'm looking forward to. So.
And I wonder what kind of spotlight they're also going to shine on our BAME nurses and midwives.
I think for me, like, the year of nursing is about valuing nursing as a profession, because we've been in existence for a very long time, and it's nice that this year is for us to celebrate what we do and also at some point acknowledge and highlight some of the challenges we face. And I think for the BAME community, this is an opportunity actually to come out and pinpoint some of the things we face when we are giving care to people, but also celebrate the role models that are within the NHS, within the healthcare organizations that we can positively look up to and shine the light on.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. For me, it's new as well. So the Nurses' Day, on the other hand, has been going on a few years now.
Yeah.
So I remember I've got a few. So for me, is it the year of the nurses, or year of the Nurses' Day?
Midwife.
Because nurses and midwives, sorry.
We've heard a lot of statistics about BAME staff being disciplined and put under grievances. Why do you guys think that there are so many grievances and disciplinaries against BAME staff?
I think that a lot of times it's almost like you've got a set of rules for one and another set of rules for another, and you're not always sure what rules are going to be used for you. So I've got another hat I can put on, which is as a steward within the Royal College of Nursing, and I have a lot of conversations with BAME staff who would say, everybody's doing this, but when I did it, I got this and all that, which is not proof enough because, we don't have an evidence to prove that everybody was doing it. But people come away thinking, well, when she did it, or he did it, got a slap on the wrist, And then when I did it, I got the full, I got my manager and the senior manager or the service manager, and why did I get the full? And I think it's all around. Sometimes it's because we're not always quick to stand up for ourselves. We just think, I had a conversation with somebody yesterday, and it was something like that, and I said, what do you want me to do? Do you want us to ask for a meeting and I'll come with you? Oh, no, it's all right, I'll just let it go.
It's quite interesting. Why do you think, from your experience as an RCN steward, why people want to just let it go? Is it because of the different treatments they receive when they're being disciplined, or when they're going through the disciplinary process?
I think, again, strictly opinion, that there's a bit of the BAME person that's, when you've been beat up over the years, and you just learn to just leave it. It'll go, this one too will pass. And it becomes a way of just survival, just getting through it. It's just my job, you know, I've got a life, but you spend so much time there. And sometimes physically you can see a person that's been beaten down.
Yeah.
You know, it's the light's going out. They do their job and they do it well, but they're constantly just not, you know, able to have that voice.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're broken.
It is being broken.
Yeah, and we've heard Morvia, when she came to the conference last year, talk about we are not broken. And we have to get that in our head that we're not broken. But because we've been beaten so much, we have the mentality that we are broken. And because I know I've felt that in the past. Yeah.
I mean, just anything I can add to that, I guess, to do with the fact of just being someone who's actually been in a situation where I've had to manage or investigate some issues regarding, I guess, a situation where if classically, I believe, as someone from the BAME community, as a manager, I wasn't there to see that true picture. I think somebody would have had a very biased opinion of that situation and treated that person differently. Because obviously there's things to do with cultural differences in the sense of how people express themselves, and you know, and we do, some of us come from a culture where we are quite passionate in how we express ourselves, etc. So I think
and at times we use body language and hands, which is quite different to what the European culture is.
So you know, clear things like like when somebody's talking about an incident might have happened, and you know they've been brought to speak about it or give a statement, and this particular man was quite, you know, quite fired up in how he was expressing something, but it wasn't because he was defiant of what, you know, had happened.
It was just his way of expressing
but
himself.
because he was an African gentleman and I'm African, I was able to understand that it's not that he's being defiant, it's just the way he's trying to articulate
he's just trying to communicate.
It's different. Whereas somebody else will see that as him being
confrontation,
aggression. Aggression is thrown around a lot.
So going back to the reason why we are disciplining a lot is due to the fact that some people do not understand the barriers, don't understand us, or fail to want to understand us, and sometimes penalise us because of that. So that is one of the reasons I would say why people are penalised. I mean, again, there is one rule for one and one rule for the other. I do agree with what you said, because you do find that, you know, I'm sure we've all been in a situation where we've experienced where we know that we've been treated slightly different to somebody else. So to my answer to that question, you know, that's why it's important, definitely, that we need to make sure we have people that look like us in management that can understand and can sometimes reduce that sort of stigma that people have of us in that situation. So that's, you know, the kind of things I think that's important to have.
And I think another thing is actually for probably people who are not from the BAME community to actually understand how people who are in BAME, how they communicate, because it's about understanding how other people's relate. And if you understand, like, actually people from BAME either communicate this way, you know, they're quite jolly people, they're loud people, you know, you understand that when a situation happens that actually they were not being confrontational, they were not being aggressive, it's just their form of expression. So it's actually embracing our diversity as an institution and actually embracing it, but rather than trying to actually discipline someone just because you don't understand how they relate. It's about time probably we need to be, you know, working together so that people know these things.
When you talk about diversity, what does diversity mean? You know, that
embracing other people
and the differences that we have.
I think diversity in the true sense of it is not textbook. Is having the cultural competence.
What do you think we can do to encourage our young people, our boys and girls, to want to work in the NHS? What can we do to encourage them?
I think shining the light in people that who are or have already made it in a way. It's trying to create and actually pinpoint the role models who've already, you know, gone through various challenges, are in that position. I can say someone like Jennifer, who's now a Band-Aid, you know, it's highlighting people like them. I know, Onika, you've been highlighting, you know, Tracy and Morvia. We need more of those people out there, because when you look at the curriculum, most of the curriculum will talk about Florence Nightingale.
Yeah.
A bit of Mary Seacole, but I don't think we did much of that when I was doing my training here. So I think it's about time probably we celebrate all these other people from BAME who actually also have actually worked and helped in healthcare, whether it's NHS, whether it's corporates, whether it's schools. It's about now shining a light on people who are from BAME community so that our young people can actually relate to them and actually say, oh, there are people like us up there. It's the same as politicians in a way.
I think to an extent as well, it's also very dependent on geographical region, because if you were to go to a trust within East London,
Yeah.
you're going to see loads of people that look like us, because they're the ones who live there the most, and you know, so again, one of the things that I have seen in Peterborough again is that a lot of our young people, when they do qualify, even if they're interested in NHS, would not stay in this region. They would go towards that region because they've got people that look like them in more top position.
And they're more valued there, you think?
Oh, well, I think, I mean, you go to some places and it's predominantly us. You know, it's just, but it's the sheer numbers.
What else do you think needs to be? Because we started to talk about monetary value of how they will rather us train people up or do things like that and not pay us. So yes, we're visible and yes, we're leaders in the organization, but in lower paying positions. They would be like, oh my God, yeah, come along and talk or come along and do this, but they won't promote you. So there is a gender pay gap, but there's also
that
a
is
race
still I
one.
mean, the gender pay
Yes,
gap is
definitely.
even in the parliament.
Yes. When you mix those two together, the
Yeah.
gender pay gap and the race pay gap, always at the bottom of that, and who it affects is women,
Of
Yeah.
course it is.
Yeah.
right?
The black woman.
The black woman.
And
Or
yeah,
the
because
woman of
coming
colour,
to
sorry.
think about it, NHS, you know, is lots of staff who are in the front line,
Yeah.
mainly
Nurses
women.
and midwives.
And they
yeah.
make up a very huge percentage, you know, of workforce globally even. So, yeah, we are the ones to...
So I'm not
Yeah.
really
Oh,
clear
yeah.
the gender gap one,
Yeah.
because again, within my role as RCN, we can ask for information, you know,
Yeah.
discuss it on staff side and everything. But it's not really clear. I'll be honest with you. It's not. It's
Not
not.
the race.
No, the gender
Gender.
one.
Okay.
But we've not really explored the race one because
I guess because the reason why within NHS, because that
the
strict banding
Yeah.
is a bit, it is.
I
it
think
is-
because
does
it was
keep
an
people.
issue,
And
and we
it's only
did call for
recently,
it.
recently, I would say, in the last few years, that people are starting to negotiate salary.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
used
So
to
it's
be.
really
Yeah.
interesting to see maybe
Yeah.
now, maybe
No.
they need to look at what it
Yeah.
looks like
I mean,
now.
it's something we can ask
Yeah,
for
yeah.
because we go
Yeah.
on the staff side. You
Yeah.
ask for the things like
Yeah.
that. So it's something I could bring up. But the race one, we've never really explored it.
But why do you think that these things are secret to one group? You know, like, why do you think BAME staff don't know that these negotiations about pay can
Because
be
they're not
done?
telling us.
And we're
And
not
we
on a
didn't-
level playing field.
And we
Yeah.
didn't have a BAME group.
We
We
and
didn't
that's
have.
it. We are not talking. Remember, we have to try and understand what
Yeah.
what
'Cause we
their
need to learn
currency.
how the
We
system
need
works,
to understand the
isn't it?
currency of any
Yeah.
organization, and
Yeah.
if we don't talk to each other
Yes.
about how. And if we don't have people in senior positions
Yes.
who know and who employ people who know you
Yeah.
can negotiate, then
Yeah.
we don't know.
Yeah.
But we also didn't have a way of communicating. So I could tell my friends,
Yes.
but I couldn't tell a BAME gathering because there
Yeah.
wasn't. Well, I could do it within the Royal College of Nursing, but not
Yeah.
like now that within the trust I work for, we've got a network.
Yeah.